Brand new poll numbers just released last week. 83% of Americans are stressed about grocery prices, and they want to know, how am I supposed to keep feeding my family without breaking the bank?
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hope.
And this is Under the Median, where practical frugality meets real life.
The poll that we're talking about was from Associated Press. It revealed that 51% of the respondents were extremely concerned about grocery prices, while an additional 33% were somewhat concerned about grocery prices. In the past 24 months, we have dropped our personal grocery budget by over 20%. So in this video, we'll give you some do's and some don'ts on grocery shopping that should help you to alleviate some of that stress that is around groceries.
If you're interested in looking at that original article that Hope mentioned, we're going to leave a link to it in the description of our video.
I created a new resource for you. It's 5 ways to reduce your grocery expenses. I thought it would be really helpful to get you going right away on saving money on your food costs. It's free, and there's going to be a link to it in the video description. Don't number 1. Never grocery shop without a plan. Now, we recently did a video last week where one of us admitted that we were out driving around and thought, oh, wouldn't it be fun just to stop in at Kroger and sort of browse a little bit? I had no plan. I had no grocery list. I had nothing I even needed at Kroger. Why I thought it was a good idea is just beyond me, except that I was really bored, didn't want to do work at home, and I thought grocery shopping sounded much more fun than doing all the work that I was going to do at home. So one of the things you want to do is when you are shopping for food, do it on purpose. Don't just walk into grocery stores, even Walmart. All right, so I'm telling you, Walmart is easy because you know what, you got the area where you can shop for home goods, and then just on the other side of the store, you got all these really great things you can shop for in the grocery department. That's what those mega Walmarts, they put everything together because inevitably when you're wandering from one side of the store to the other, you're going to make your way from those home goods departments over to the grocery store department and start walking around going, that just looks really good. I should buy that and take it home. Grocery shop on purpose and do it with a list. Do it because you've already figured out what's on the menu that week and you're doing it based on what's actually on sale at the grocery store.
And this next one falls right in line with what Hope was just saying. Use a 5-meal plan flexible list. This will help you to decide on some items that you might want to purchase that will go with the items you already have in your stores at home, or get some items that are on sale. These are already in the sales flyer and you can build your meals around them. But instead of doing like 14 meals, just do 5. It'll be a lot simpler to shorten that down a little bit.
Now, the way that we do this is my fave way to plan meals throughout the week. We use a topical menu planning system. I don't plan what I'm going to cook on Monday, for Tuesday, for Wednesday, for Thursday. I don't do that. I make 4 or 5, usually 4 main dishes for 1 week. And they, there's always leftovers, and that's why you're only going to make 4. If you make 7 main dishes, you're going to have a whole lot of leftovers. So those are the planned leftovers where I'm going to either serve them for a second night or I'm going to serve part of them for lunch the next day. And sometimes, and this is really fun, guys, when I serve them for lunch, I totally reinvent them. I roll things up in burritos, or I put them on top of rice, or I make little tacos out of them. I do all kinds of stuff with leftovers. It's like camouflaged leftovers. It worked great when the kids were all at home because they, for the most part, didn't really realize that they were eating leftovers. It was leftovers that had been morphed. They've been reinvented and served as something else. So sort of consider that too when you're putting together a weekly menu plan. Topical menu planning. Tell me in the comment section. When you meal plan, do you meal plan, first of all? And if you meal plan, do you do it day by day or you do more of a topical system like I do?
Here's a don't. Don't shop on cravings. If you're craving an item, chances are you're going to start buying other items to go with it that might be more expensive just because they go with that one item that you're craving. We mentioned this next one a little bit earlier, and that's a do. do shop based on sale items. That's going to be your cheapest way to buy. And if you can buy a little bit more, buy to the maximum amount that they allow you. That will really help you in order to save.
And this is one of the main tips I give people. When I am planning that topical menu, I make really sure that almost all of the main ingredients that I am putting into those dishes either got on sale, on clearance, on markdown, and I am constantly eating ingredients that I paid less than retail price for. You can't just say, oh, pot roast sounds good and go out and buy pot roast, or your grocery bill is going to go up. If hamburger's on sale, guess what's for meals that night? Hamburger. Hamburger made 4 different ways that week because you got a screaming good deal on hamburger. When you do this, and don't feel like your meals are going to be boring, because you're going to present that hamburger in a bunch of different ways throughout the week, right? Or in my case, it's going to be the cauliflower or broccoli. I'm going to present a bunch of different ways throughout the week. When you do that, your grocery bill automatically drops.
This is a don't. Don't buy pre-made items. These are items that are already mixed. They've done all the work to put those together, which you could do, but it's so much more expensive to buy anything that's pre-made. So you want to buy the main ingredients, and if you can, buy those in bulk or buy them on sale. Store them up, make a list of what you have so you know what you have in your stores, and then use those.
One thing you can do is turn it over and you use your phone and you're going to snap a photo of where it says ingredients. It's going to tell you what the spices are and everything. Then you're going to make your own, and the spices that you probably have most of them at home. But if you don't, here's another tip. Visit your favorite local ethnic food store. They're small, they're generally locally owned. The owners know exactly what to tell you to do with those herbs and spices that are in their store. And usually they sell those specific herbs and spices for less money than you would pay at the grocery store.
Make sure that you're buying whole ingredients. That is the cheapest way to buy your items.
Look at your menu plan and say how many of these meals are comprised of single ingredients. I bought the rice, I bought the beans, I bought the tomatoes, I bought the spices. And those are all single ingredients, right? The vast majority of the items that you make throughout the week, if they are single ingredient recipes, those are the recipes that are going to be far less expensive to make.
The next don't choose recipes with expensive ingredients that you're unfamiliar with, because that definitely will drive the price up.
Here's how this winds up happening. You're cruising through your Facebook feed, and all of a sudden you're presented with the opportunity to make a recipe, and you see it and you're like, oh, that looks so good. But it's got lamb chops in it. You don't buy lamb on the regular. You got to figure out how to go to the store and even find where the lamb chops are. And when you get there, you find out they're $10.95 a pound for lamb chops. But you are dedicated to making this recipe because it's down on your menu plan. One of the things you want to do is figure out what this recipe is going to cost you to make in the first place. If there's a lot of expensive ingredients in it, maybe you shouldn't do it.
Do build a cheap meal bank. This is basically 10 to 12 different recipes or meals that you can make based on items that you already have in your food bank at home. So make a list of all the items you have and what you can do with them, so you have a ready-made list of inexpensive meals you don't have to go out and purchase anything for.
Now, when Larry talks about food bank, we're not talking about food banks where you go and you receive food.
No.
No, what he is talking about is this whole idea of creating this bank of recipes where you can go and you can withdraw a recipe, right? So it's a list basically where you have your family's 10 or 15 best low-cost ingredient recipes that they love, and it's going to be a hit. So what we suggest doing is looking through those recipes, present them to your family, let them vote. The top 10 recipes that get the most votes, you're going to put those on a rotation. So they would love to see tacos once a week. They would love to see hot stuffed baked potatoes once a week. The things that you're going to put on there and rotate, make a double batch and freeze half of it. Because what you wind up with after a couple of months are enough meals sitting in your freezer that on those nights when you get home and you're like, I'm super duper tired, the only thing that makes sense to my addled brain is calling for takeout. And you're like, but wait, we had that family favorite. It is in the freezer. All I have to do is thaw it, stick it in the microwave, and we are ready to go.
This next tip follows exactly what Hope was talking about, and this is a don't. Don't bake from scratch every night. That's what she was talking about, saving some meals up in your freezer so you have something to fall back on. Because if you're cooking from scratch every night, you're eventually going to get tired. You're going to get weary of trying to put these meals together all the time from ground up. Keep an always buy it cheap list. This is a list of items where at that price that you're willing to pay for, when that item gets to that price, then you know that's a good deal. So that kind of helps you make decisions at the grocery store on what to buy and what not to buy.
Some people call this a grocery store price list, a grocery store price book. We really suggest the top 15 or 20 things you buy all the time. We're not people who are like 50, 60 things in our price book, because that's a lot to put that information together. You're going to take the things that you buy most often and you're going to basically look across the board at 3 or 4 different places where you normally buy that item, and you're going to find the lowest price for that item. You know, for instance, that if pasta goes on sale for under 89 cents a pound, that's your buy price. If you know that sugar goes on sale 4 pounds for under $3.50, that's your buy price. And you've got just a little note of it. You can even take a picture of it and put it on your phone just for easy, super easy reference. So you know while you're standing in the grocery store staring at that price, it says sale, and you're wondering, is this really a good deal or not? Then you know. And if you find it at your buy price, if it's something that can go in your freezer or go on your pantry shelf, then you can stock up on it. And here's the way that we stock up on stuff. Moving on to ways you can stock up without breaking the bank. Because this was huge for us. We would find these great deals, stock up on them, and then you get to the last 10 days of the month and you're like, my Lord, look, we've got $25 left in the grocery budget. 10 days, 4 hungry boys. This math is not mathing. To avoid that, what we started doing is what we call our 1/5 method. We take our entire grocery budget, let's just say it's $500 a month for the sake of easy math. You divide that $500 into fifths, which means that you have $100, that's 1/5. That is your stock up fund for the month. You find fantastic deals. You can spend down that $100, put it in an envelope if you need to.
There you go.
Spend that money down, and that allows you to purchase items that you find at a fantastic deal without blowing out the other 80% of your grocery budget. The other 80%, which would be the $400 that is left over, divide that into fourths. So you've got $100 per week for your regular grocery expenses, and you've got that $100 sitting right over here so that you can purchase items and stock up without messing up everything else and getting to the last 10 days with no grocery money left.
And I'd like to mention, along with all that Hope said about that issue, is make sure you know which store has the best prices on the item that you're looking for. For instance, if Aldi's has the cheapest price on your 4 pounds of sugar, make sure that you keep track of that and that it's staying at that price. And if nobody else can beat it, then that's where you need to go to get your sugar.
You know, that is a really good observation. If Aldi's is consistently the lowest, that's your benchmark, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
When you walk into Aldi's, let's say once a month, even if sugar's not on your list, pass by the sugar and make note. Has Aldi's price gone up? Because what sometimes does happen is the price that you have on your grocery store price book list, you walk in and you're like, oh, shoot. Aldi's, the sugar went up 60 cents. I didn't even notice because it'd been 4 or 5 months since you'd updated your grocery store price book, right? Yep. So he's absolutely right. If that's consistently the lowest, just pass by it periodically and say, oh, has that gone up? Because then you'll be able to do the math really easily and figure out if you're standing in Kroger and it's on sale for $2.50, which recently happened to us.
Yes.
We were in Kroger and I was like, oh, man. Is this a really good deal? And we did the math and figured out it really was a better deal to get it at Kroger at that moment in time than it was to buy it at Aldi.
And remember, one thing to keep in mind, don't try to do all of these methods at once. Just take 2 or 3 of them, put them in place, and get those down, and then you'll start building habits. Once you've built a habit, then it's automatic. So just take a few at a time.
And speaking of habits, we do have some kind of unusual habits and tricks and strategies that we use to keep our grocery budget ultra low. We did a video, we talked about 40 of those unusual things that we do to keep an ultra low grocery budget. If you want those tips and strategies, they're right over there.